I'm really glad that Jerry reached out to me to do this presentation. This idea, it was just, I call it a pea brain idea that I had. My dad always says, well, he's in memory care now, so, but he always told me of his 3 girls, I'm the one with the biggest heart. So, and it's true. I told me for that to sound so like I'm so of myself, but my 2 other sisters, while I love them, they're very, very self-centered people. Well, one's in Minnesota, so I know I'm really safe, and the other one is in Orlando, but I'm safe. Okay, so, yes, I worked for the Bureau of Prisons for 25 years. I retired in 2015. I went through, and well, the joke in my family is, well, one, I did 25 years in federal prison, and the other is I met my husband in prison. That usually seems to get the best response. He retired. But yes, we did meet in prison, so, and he's been retired a little bit longer than I have. But anyway, in 1995, Bruce and I had what I love them to death now, my stepchildren. We had 3 teenagers on our hands. You know, and it was just Bruce and I, you know, and I jokingly call them that teenagers, but at the time, we all can relate, I'm sure, going through those teenage years. We had 3 of them with us. We were both of us worked for the prison system. So when the 95 shutdown came about, it was 2 incomes that were gone, okay? And we were dirt freaking poor, okay? I went through the 2013 shutdown. By that time, I'd risen through the ranks. My husband had retired, so we were in a much better position when that one came through. But with that being said, I don't know how this thought came to me. It just did. And I'm like, oh, you gotta have a food drive. You gotta have a food drive for the people of Coleman. If you don't know, because I was just talking to some people that are here visiting, there is a federal prison, as most of you probably know, the Federal Correctional Complex in Coleman. It is not very far from Finney. If you live in McClure, it's just right there. But I say that lightly, who wants one in their backyard kind of concept. But the staff are all, there are 1,200 staff members that work there. And when you lose, you know, there are a lot of staff out there that, you know, they're married. There are 5 institutions there. So if you do have a family of 2 working there, you lose both of your paychecks. So anyway, this whole thing came to my idea. Unfortunately, I happen to know the one of the wardens out there, and I invited her to come today, but she couldn't make it, and plus she lives in Mount Dora, so it'd be quite a trip. So she was kind of village short. But I reached out to Kathy. We've known each other for 30 years, Warden Lane, and I pitched this idea of a food drive. And it took her a little while because, you know, with the government, you have all that ethics stuff, and there was nobody in central office, which is D.C., you know, Washington, D.C., to contact, to get clearance, to do a food drive for people who aren't getting paid, you know. So eventually, we got the approval. Well, before we got the approval, and actually I have to give my sisters credit for this one. My older sister from Minnesota had come down, that one. My older sister from Minnesota had come down to see my dad, and so we went out to lunch with my dad. And I was telling them, you know, God, I'm trying to get this food drive going, and Kim and Chris looked at me and they said, well, what's stopping you? And I said, well, I'm trying to get approval to get on grounds. And they said, hey, why don't you do it off-site? Duh. So I put out on Next Door Neighbor, and Facebook, I just put out the word, by social media that I was doing this food drive. That was Saturday night. Sunday morning, most people go to mass or church, and then they go to the grocery store afterwards. And so by 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, people were about, I'm going to say this, and again, I'm joking, but it kind of looked like an undercover drug ring in our house. Cause in and out. On a cul-de-sac, but on a cul-de-sac road, village of LaBelle. And so I could just imagine the neighbors were thinking, but oh God, what is she up to now? So by the time Sunday, I think, let's see. Oh, I don't know if I sent you. I didn't. Okay. I sent some pictures to Heather last night, but I didn't send this one. And it was a picture of our spare bedroom that was completely full. So we'll look at this. I was completely stunned at the response. So then it just kept on going Monday, Tuesday, and then we had to move out into the garage. And the golf cart part of the garage was full. So are they rolling through? Okay. So we ended up, so we got approval to go ahead and initiate the food drive. Well, thank God I had started this, asking for food before we got the approval, because like I said, if nothing else, I was going to do it off-site somewhere. But we did get approval on Coleman property. They have 4 or 5 houses that are designated for different uses. And so we used one of the houses. And so, yeah, you kind of see the food pantries. I have a couple pictures there. The first day, okay, I'll tell the bread story here in a minute. But the food pantry, that's a lot of bread. The food pantry I got set up. Enter Kim Carey. She was in the first picture with me. She retired from Coleman, so we ended up working together on this thing. And then she got the office, sheriff's office involved. And she's a Sumter born and raised person, so she had the connections to really make this thing kind of, go out of control. Yes, Kim on the right. She's my new BFF, by the way. So we, we got it set up on Wednesday. On Thursday, staff were coming in left and right. We had 75 people, I believe, come in and get food. So by 4 o'clock, we were wiped out. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I mean, there's 1,200 staff members here. I got with Kathy with Fort Lane. She's like, well, how did it go? Talking about good problems to have. This was a good problem to have. I'm like, Kathy, man, we're almost out of food out there. I don't know what we're gonna do. She's like, well, somehow something's gonna happen. I go home, and what do you know? That bedroom is full again. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I was like, how are we going to do this? And then so, and each shift somebody could come out there. So, long story short, it worked out. Now there is a picture of the bread. There are 2 stories I want to tell real quick. The picture of the bread. Okay. So this guy pulls up, this was a Kim Carey idea. She contacted somebody, and this guy came out with, this was a trailer full of Pepperidge Farm bread.
Oh, wow.
Now, there was enough bread that I snuck some in. Oh my God, carbs and sweets. Gee, God. So, it was, the Pepperidge Farms in Ocala, after the expiration date, they can't sell them. So apparently, this guy gives the bread to a pig farmer, and the pig farmer goes home and gives all the bread to the pigs. And so the pig farmer, it's not a joke, but the pig farmer brought this out, and I'm like, oh my bread. And I just hugged the young kid. I was just, thank you so much. And so he was like, I heard about this and I just couldn't use my pigs. So all the staff, it was good bread. I mean, there really was nothing wrong with it. And so I did. I didn't feel too bad thinking of you. I think they still have some there, as a matter of fact. So then the other story I want to tell was, gift cards. A lot of people, instead of donating food, they give gift cards because how do people get back and forth to work? Gas in their car. Duh. I did that. I was like, I hadn't even thought about that. Because a lot of staff members live in Claremont, Dora, Ocala. And so we got a lot of gift cards, but there are a bunch of Publix gift cards, and Publix doesn't have a gas station. So I went ahead and I flew, thank Katie. I went to Publix, and I had $190 in gift cards. So I just went ahead and I loaded up baby, stuff that I had heard from staff that they needed. There was stuff that they needed. So I went ahead and I got all the baby diapers and it was a cart full of stuff. And I went up to the cashier. It was about 8 o'clock, and I said, "This is what I'm doing. I really don't know how much I have, but hopefully we'll get it pretty close." So she says, "Okay, $190, $90." So she went ahead and we get to the end, and it was 220, I think it was. And I was like, how did I go wrong on that? Well, there was one gift card I didn't scan right, so that was $20. And then I gotta take care of I have 2 dogs, so you gotta take care of the fur babies. So I got some dog treats, and I thought those dog treats were on sale, where they weren't. So in comes the Publix manager, and she's like, she just went ahead. It was, how they're smaller treats or larger treats. She said, "We're going to give them to you." So Publix down here, Lake Deep, helped me out too. So that was very nice. The whole community thing that we did. So we did get some stuff from all over. That's the picture there. So what happens when Sheeta Face decides that he doesn't want to, or that he wants to do another shutdown, I don't know, but that pantry's going to be up and running again. We will need more donations, so if it comes to that point, then I am going to go ahead and put out a next door neighbor. I'll reach out to Jerry and Heather to get that information out, and hopefully my house will look like another drug ring in the villages. When Miss Beverly was talking about being kind. Ellen DeGeneres, I love her show. And the last 5 words she says at the end of every show is, "Be kind to one another." Or each other, be kind to each other, be kind to one another. So that goes along in the same aspect. So this was just a random act of kindness that blew out of control. I'm really glad it did blow out of control.